Welcome back. Today we're going to be looking at analog horror, and I might actually try to make some of it myself, which could be a funny experience. It feels like all these sorts of genres I talk about are very much connected, and that's why I talk about them, because it's like, oh, you like liminal space? Well, then check out the Backrooms. Oh, you like the Backrooms? Well, then check out the Mandala catalog. Oh, you like the Mandala catalog? Then check out analog horror. Although analog horror might come first and then Mandala catalog, but whatever, doesn't matter. It's all sort of connected. Now, would you say that analog horror is like liminal space? Not really, no, because it's far enough removed, but it feels like they all kind of use elements of each other. So what is analog horror then? It's actually pretty easy to understand. It's just horror that involves analog media. What a nice definition, because I feel like when I described liminal space or Backrooms, it was like, how do I explain this? This is just horror made up of kind of an old school aesthetic, like old film camera or, a tube TV, whatever. That being said, I do find that the analog thing kind of gets lost a little bit. Some things are not analog, but I'm like, at least it feels old, Analog has just kind of become like old school, otherworldly. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. What the dog doing? Like I said, there's nothing really analog about this. It just kind of feels weird. There's also a lot of like bad video. Like it'll be like what looks like a mannequin, and then it'll just be like a really dark photo with like, the shape of a mannequin type looking person, kind of uncanny. And then there'll be like Microsoft Sam, like the old where you could type in what you wanted it to say and the computer would like read it off in like that super jagged way of speaking. Let me show you what I'm talking about.
Dude, I own this NFT. Do you really think you can get away with theft when you're showing what you stole directly to my face? My lawyers will make an easy job of this case.
The community has a lot of fun with it. I feel like there's an equal amount of serious analog horror as there is people being self-aware and kind of making funny stuff out of the analog horror style. I appreciate both. I appreciate when someone honestly tries to make something eerie, but there's also a fun element of like that. Everything looks analog horror, but the subject material is like a demon getting mad at you for stealing their NFT. An intruder. Ooh. I would say the biggest, most quality piece of analog horror, and probably the best example of the best of it, is a series called the Mandala Catalog Volume 1. Isn't it Mandala? On a channel called Alex Kister. Alex Kister? He hardly knows her.
We are currently receiving countless reports of an unidentified hostile organism that we'll refer to as alternates. Until we have a complete understanding of the threat, it's important to stay home, lock all doors and windows, and have access to a loaded firearm or any ranged weapon at all times. You will know if an alternate exists solely based on their physical characteristics. If you see another person that looks identical to you, run away and hide. If you see a person that has a biologically impossible characteristic, run away and hide. If one manages to break into your home, refrain from any kind of communication or contact.
We're not gonna watch the whole thing, but you get the idea. It feels like an old school, like instruction video. It's got the weird voice that's very characteristic of analog horror. The juxtaposition of telling you about something that's rather horrifying if you think about it, in such a non-horrifying, casual, almost monotone way, is kind of what makes up a lot of this genre. And note that I'm using analog horror and Mandala Catalog not as the same thing. I would say that Mandala Catalog is a branch off analog horror, but it's very, very, very deeply rooted in it. So I know someone will say, oh, Mandala Catalog isn't really analog horror, it's more of its own thing. I'd be like, yeah, sure. Okay, so you get the idea. I don't know if I've spent enough time looking at it for me to jump into making it myself, but I think you get the idea, because I really am here just to do it myself. That's what sounds fun to me. Did you know the moon is getting away? Here's what we're gonna do. I don't have like any fancy programs. I'm pretty low budget on everything I use. It almost makes it more fun, to be honest. I have 2 sound effects here. This will be like the end of it. This will be when something spooky happens. This will just be the static for when nothing's happening. So that's what we have. So let's take a picture of me. Let's put my hood on. Okay, look as scary as possible. Okay. Now, we send this photo to myself. Okay, here we go. This is the super scary picture of me. Okay, let's cut out the background. I think the reason why analog horror is so easy to make is that so much of it is just making it look bad. Like making a photo that looks good and convincing, not so good at that. But as soon as it's about making it look bad, okay, make it look dark. Let's actually add a layer that's just nothing, like that. Okay, now we got to do an effect that makes it not look just like a picture. We want it to look old. Okay, that actually looks kind of good. Yeah, there we go. That's what we're looking for. Like I said, this is going to be funny, not scary. That's just my face in the dark, kind of smiling. It's kind of nice, kind of a friendly look. Anything else we want to do before we move on from this? There's more we will do. Oh, shoot, that's good. Okay, let's just kind of make it look more uncanny. Let's make my eyes kind of big. Let's make my smile a little bit too large. That looks good to me. Yikes, that actually looks a little too good, I would say. So let's just loop. There it is at full volume. So let's have nothing there. Okay, here's what we have so far. This is basic. We're gonna try to put this onto like maybe a tube TV, but I want to do one more thing. I want to put that sort of VHS sound in the middle again, so we can have it kind of like re-effect, where we have it zoom like this, like that. Dude, why is this actually kind of creepy? This is fun. I should do this more often. I'm like such a non-horror guy, so it's really, I don't think I've ever made anything with the intent for it to be creepy ever in my life. So I'm having fun while doing this, but it's funny that the subject material is like, there's nothing fun about what I'm making. It's meant to just creep someone out, but this is super fun. People are so nice on the internet, dude. Someone just straight up posted a green screen TV for anyone to use. Look at that. That's fantastic. My editing software is dog water, so this is going to be very interesting for me to do. Why is that so good, dude? Okay, what if we do it where it's like a little bit off? I don't love how bright the background is. Okay, so let's just have it end with that sound effect. Let's actually remove, this whole first part's too long. So there we go. So here's what we have so far. Let's go ahead and give the whole TV a touch up here. Crank the sharpness up. Let's actually crank the sharpness up on both. That actually hides the green screen a little better. Okay, it's looking good, boys. But the best part is the voice. I'm excited about doing the voice. Okay, we're gonna make it kind of silly. So let's think of something that's not really scary at all to hear. What's new on the Taco Bell menu? Chipotle cheddar chalupa. Have you tried Taco Bell's new Chipotle cheddar chalupa? Get it now for only $3.59. Let's go ahead and cut all that out because we got to make this happen relatively quick. Okay, again, we're using a super free program here. So let's pitch it down a little bit.
Have you tried Taco Bell's?
Let's go not quite so far down.
Have you tried Taco Bell?
Just enough to be a little uncanny. A little bit of reverb.
Have you tried Taco Bell's new Chipotle cheddar chalupa? Get it?
Sounds like the Jackbox guy.
Answer my trivia questions correctly, and you might make it out alive.
The nice thing about all this is we're pretty much trying to make it sound bad. Like pitching it down, then pitching it up again, lowering the volume, then turning the volume back up again. That's how you run audio. But that's kind of what we're trying to do here.
Have you tried Taco Bell's new Chipotle cheddar chalupa? Have you tried Taco Bell's new Chipotle cheddar chalupa?
Okay, so let's save this one. We're going to do two. We're going to try to do the breathing in speaking thing.
Have you tried?
Ah, that's going to be hard. Okay, I got to get real close for this one.
Have you tried Taco Bell's new cheddar chalupa? Ow!
I got to do this. I can do it in, I'm going to do it in parts.
Have you tried Taco Bell's new cheddar chalupa? Get it now for only $3.49.
Yikes. This is the weirdest video I've ever made.
Have you tried Taco Bell?
Yes, like that. Okay. Amplify it again. Back up to a good volume.
Have you tried?
we're not going to want to distort this one too much because I like how it sounds, but let's expand it and compress it. I think with the static and everything on top of that, I think that will be the last bit of effects that we needed. Let's isolate the 3 different... Okay, these are the 3 different parts of the clip. Again, my editing software is not great. Okay, so we have this. It might be the perfect length, honestly. This is going to need some adjusting, but here it is, just exactly how we have it.
Taco Bell, new cheddar chalupa. Get it now for only $3.49.
I'm into it, man. It's not the best analog horror I've ever seen, that's for sure. I think we need a gap right here. So let's go ahead and stretch these out. I don't like that it moves too quickly. Let's leave a big pause between the price.
Cheddar chalupa. Get it now for only $3.49.
So raise the volume when I get closer. I want there to be some sort of visual effect when I show up, and then again when I move forward, there needs to be something there. So I wonder if we could just grab this and use it again? Is that possible?
Get it now for only $3.49.
That's actually not bad. Yeah, let's make me a little more faint the first time, and then a little more clear the second time. So.
Taco Bell, new cheddar chalupa. Get it now for only $3.49.
Okay, here's an idea. So we keep this going, but we end the TV.
Only $3.49.
It kind of implies in a way that, hey, he's not in the TV anymore, maybe? I don't know about you guys, but that's a little bit creepy. So let's make it even bigger. It's gonna feel kind of like a jump scare almost.
Get it now for only $3.49.
Let's have an effect, some sort of transition there, because it's too quick. What if we do the same thing again, but for this one, it's just the static. So we grab the static like that. Okay, let's do that. I like that. Okay, I'm gonna do something controversial here. We're going to have it very slowly zoom, right up until the point that you see my face at the end. Then it will stop zooming. Very slight, but here we go.
Taco Bell, new cheddar chalupa. Get it now for only $3.49.
There's one thing this is missing, and that is Minecraft cave sounds. Now, the last thing to do is to save it in like a old resolution, like 640 by 480. Here we go. This is it.
Taco Bell, new cheddar chalupa. Get it now for only $3.49.
That's it, boys. We're pros. Analog horror. I'm sure anyone that knows a lot about analog horror would probably say, that's not really analog horror, but I had a good time. I hope that you guys enjoyed that. I've never edited on camera before. I've never edited me editing, which is what I'm about to go do. So that's going to be very interesting. So hopefully this video turned out in an interesting sort of way. If you guys like this, I'd love to do spend more time on it, or make like a more full-length video on camera, analog horror or otherwise, where we use like, I don't know, maybe I go out and take some videos that we use and take more pictures and then just my face, you know? Sometimes in analog horror, they use lots of old games and stuff too. So for instance, earlier this week, I made this in Microsoft Paint. It's meant to look like an old point-and-click type game. And I was thinking of kind of animating it and making it look kind of garbled and having something kind of like fourth wall breaking happen in this scene. So we could use like that, and then some videos I took, and then a couple pictures, and make like a full minute video. I know it's kind of a non-popular topic, and then it's a even more non-popular way to go about that topic. So I don't know, but I make videos that I want to make here, and things that I think you guys will find interesting. So hopefully you enjoyed it. Make sure to subscribe if you have not. Check out the Discord. Whatever you want to do. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.